Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Sammy Fryer, licensed realtor in the state of South Carolina, servicing the Grand Strand and the PD. And with almost 40 years of experience and familiarity with this part of the country, my goal is to bring to you information and data that will be useful to you to use in your decision making if you're considering buying or selling in the Myrtle Beach area. And so what we're going to do today is take a very generalized and high level look at the Myrtle Beach area to help you make informed decisions using a table of statistics and data that I've compiled for 2024. And so what you're going to see on your screen is every home that was sold or is currently pending since January the 1st of this year, 2024. Now that's going to be for each particular area that we're going to look at. And what that's going to do is actually tell you a couple of things that will be very relevant to you, whether you're looking to sell your home or you're looking to move into our area and buy. And I know that many of you are. I get calls and emails all the time from people all over the country at this point that are using this type of data to make informed decisions in their next move. Now, one thing that I need to say before we get into this data that you need to understand, there's a couple of variables that affect the accuracy of some of this data. For one, the sample size for each area we're going to look at can be actually dramatically different, up to over 1,000 homes down to 22 units in the case of Garden City. So that's going to affect some of the volatility in some of these numbers to a degree. The other thing is entry error and input. That is subject to any error that any particular agent may have made at any point in the entry of any of these. You know, for time's sake, there are thousands and thousands of homes that we're about to look at. So I did not go through each one and look for any potential error. So keep in mind that errors and omissions could factor into some of this, but I can tell you that generally speaking, this data is very sound and solid and will really truly give you a very accurate, generalized picture of what it costs to buy in the areas that we're about to look at. So with that being said, I hope that you'll stay tuned and let's look at some very important stuff that you'll want to consider if you are in fact considering selling or buying in the Myrtle Beach area. All right, now we're actually going to start with Conway. And for a lot of you out there, this is going to make a lot of sense and you'll see exactly why we're putting Conway into this video once we get to the back end. If you're in Conway, it's only going to take you about half an hour to get to the coast. And so just understand that as we go through all of this. Now, Conway is a city of about 28,000 people as of 2022. Now, going back to what I just mentioned a moment ago about sample size, when we looked at Conway for 2024, as you can see here, we're looking at over 1,000 homes. The average price for homes sold and or pending in 2024 is $323,600. The average square foot of those homes is 2,316 square feet on an average lot size of just under 5/10 of an acre, just under half an acre, with an average price per square foot, and this is going to be the big one in all of these, of $182.25. The average year built for the homes in this sample size from 2024 is 2015, with an average of 85 days on the market. And notice that this says this is showing only pending or sold properties with no land or lot leases that were input in 2024. So that's saying that all of this is from 2024. None of these were put into the system prior to January 1st, 2024, and none of these homes are any that have land or lot leases. So if there was like a modular home with a lot lease or something like that, none of those are factored into here. This is for people that are looking for single family residence and or condos. Okay, so those are the averages for Conway. And notice, I think one of the big things that needs to stand out just starting off here is 2015, the average year built for the homes in Conway. What you're seeing is a lot of development because Conway is going to be a great option for those of you that want to be at the beach, that want to be on the coast, but may not want to deal with everything that comes along with actually being right there in Myrtle Beach for a variety of reasons. One could be cost. We're about to look at that, but it could also be traffic and tourism. Whatever your reason may be, Conway is a very attractive option for a lot of people. Now, moving right along for the sake of time, we're going to start in North Myrtle Beach and we're going to work our way down south to Pawleys Island. So starting with North Myrtle, we have a sample size of 316 homes. The most expensive home listed in this search in 2024 was $3.7 million. And the average price for the home sold in North Myrtle is $657,205.41, with an average square footage of 2,637 square feet on an average lot size of just over 2/10 of an acre, with an average price per square foot of $326.55, with an average year built of 2002. Average days on market being 67. Obviously, the homes on average being a little bit older than what's available in Conway right now, but about $140 more in terms of the price per square foot for those homes. All right, now moving south to Myrtle Beach with a sample size of almost 1,700 homes. sold in 2024 or pending. Scrolling up. The most expensive being $6.5 million. That home sat on the market for 126 days. The average price for the home sold or pending in Myrtle for 2024 thus far is $488,000, $488,010.84, with an average square foot of 2,782 square feet. Average lot size being almost identical to that in North Myrtle at 0.24, with an average price per square foot coming in cheaper at $219.76 per square foot, with an average year built of 2013. So on average, these homes being a little bit newer and a little bit cheaper, with an average days on market of 76 days. Now, again, that's a sample size larger of almost 1,400 units. And so just keep in mind as we go through this, that this is very high level, very generalized. If you're looking to sell your home in the Myrtle Beach area, or as you're shopping and looking to buy in any of these areas that we're looking at, please understand that property values and sales come in on a case-to-case basis. There are a lot of factors that impact the pricing strategy of a home. A couple of examples including the age of the home, the condition of the home, the subdivision of the home, etc., etc. But again, these numbers, this is real black and white data. These are not opinions. This is analytics. This is statistics and data. So this is going to give you a very good idea of what to expect in each of these areas. So moving further south down to Surfside, we're looking at 166 units, the most expensive of which being $1.845 million. That home sat on the market for 109 days. The average price of the homes in Surfside for 2024 is $519,207.91, with an average square footage of 2,438 square feet on an average lot size of 0.21. So all of these right around 0.2 of an acre, with an average price per square foot of $278.35. Average year built for these homes is 2004, averaging 60 days on the market. Moving even further south to Garden City, we only had 22 homes to look at. Keep that in mind. Smaller sample size, ergo possibly a little bit more volatility in what you may experience in the marketplace in Garden City. Compared to this, thus far in 2024, the most expensive home being $1,795,000. The average price for the home sold in 2024 in Garden City is $920,977, with an average square footage of 3,209 square feet on an average lot size, the smallest so far of our list at 0.15 of an acre, with an average price per square foot of $474.55 per square foot, with an average year built of 1994, averaging 68 days on the market. Garden City certainly being one of the older, more established areas in the Myrtle Beach area and smaller. There hasn't been and is not as much room for development and growth in that area. Beautiful homes over there. They're absolutely beautiful homes in Garden City. And you can see the price per square foot certainly reflecting that there's just some fantastic homes down in Garden City. All right, continuing to move south down to Murrells Inlet. So right next door, with a sample size of 343 homes, the most expensive home being sold in Murrells Inlet this year, $3,375,000. The average price for the home sold in 2024 in Murrells Inlet is $539,085.74, with an average square foot of 2,795 square feet on a lot size on average that's double that of what we see in Garden City at 0.32, just over 0.3 of an acre, with an average price per square foot of $250.02, with an average year built of 2007. Also averaging 68 days on the market in Murrells Inlet for 2024. And finally, let's look at Pawleys Island. Then let's look at all of this from a different angle and kind of discuss some of the options of what that may mean for you sellers out there and buyers. In Pawleys Island, we have a sample size of 183 homes, the most expensive of which coming in at $5.5 million. That also sat on the market 113 days. So those of you out there that have these top of the market homes that have listed or are looking to list, be encouraged to be patient. These homes on average are looking at over 100 days of time on the market before they sell. As you can see here up at the top, that is frequently the case in each of these areas. The average price for the home sold in 2024 in Pawleys Island is $904,303.95. These homes come in with an average square footage of 3,553 square feet on an average lot size of just under 4/10 of an acre at 0.37, with an average price per square foot of $352.82, with an average year built of the year 2000, averaging slightly above at 70 days on the market. Now, one of the things that I want us to look at before we wrap this video up and just kind of discuss what all this may mean for you, we looked at everything that was sold or pending in 2024. Let's take a different look at everything that is currently active, and we can see how those numbers kind of compare to one another. Now, this report that we're going to look at does not include condos or townhomes. That's very important to keep in mind. So let's start with Conway. And if you remember, for 2024, we were at an average of $182 per square foot. Right now, for active listings, we're looking at $193 on average per square foot. The reason I wanted to pull this report up is, especially as we get into some of the areas closer to the coast, it's really important to segment the market, because the segment of the market that you're in, and this is especially for you sellers. So if we don't segment the market, we see that the 90-day average for the homes in Conway, they have at $194. Market segments in Conway range here. So the lower segment would be about $275,000 and lower. The next segment being around a $300,000 to $350,000 mark. The next segment, $350,000 to around $450,000, and then $475,000 and up would be the top market segment in Conway. And you can see that if you're shopping in that top market segment, you're still looking at, on average, around $213 per square foot. All right, so in keeping with that same idea, if we go to North Myrtle, see the average price per square foot is $342 compared to $326.55 that we saw sold this year. But again, I want to point out, same thing with market segments. Now, the market segments, as we get over to the coast, also drastically change from what you see in Conway. And so the bottom market segment in North Myrtle is where we see Conway capped out around $475,000. That's going up to, say, call it $650,000, up to about $800,000, and then on up to $1.3 million and up would be your top market segment in North Myrtle. And that represents these lines here on the graph. And you can see how the price per square foot changes according to market segment. So again, if you're looking to list or sell, perhaps you already have a listing active and you're just wanting to verify the pricing strategy that you went with, and you're watching this video to do some comparison or some analysis of your own, definitely something you're going to want to keep in mind. But you can see the variation in the price per square foot in North Myrtle depending on your market segment. And so to make it kind of practical, if we desegment the market, then that price per square foot is around what we see in the sale prices that we looked at so far this year at $351. But I don't want you thinking if you're looking for $1 million home in North Myrtle, statistically, that's the price per square foot that you're probably going to be looking at. You're probably looking closer to around $459. That's a major difference. By the way, if you'd like to receive these particular reports for free, just send me an email or reach out to me. My contact information is down in the description of the video. This information updates every 7 days. So every Friday, they update this information and plug it into the algorithm, and you can receive these to your inbox for free. They're free now, and they will always be free, at least on my end. So let's go south now down to Myrtle. Average price per square foot, $223 per. You can see what your market segments are in Myrtle here. You can see the absorption rate, average days on market. But as you can see again, for the top segment of the market in Myrtle, that number is $100 per square foot higher than the average for the entire area. All right, now we have to drop down to Murrells Inlet. Average price per square foot, $260. But if you segment the market, you'll find that the highest segment, which would be the homes around $1 million and up in Murrells Inlet, you're really looking more at about $430 per square foot. And finally, for Pawleys Island, average $294 per square foot for those in the highest segment of the market, which would qualify as homes around $1.5 million and up. You're more realistically looking at almost $500 per square foot, the average coming in on a 90-day average at $481. Okay, so what we plan to do in the future is get into some more detailed elements of all these areas we looked at and more: Carolina Forest, Socastee, even Georgetown, Aner. But for now, these are the major areas that many people are moving to And this is designed to give you a real good black and white statistical look at the data to help you make informed decisions on your next move. So I hope that you find it helpful. If you do, please give the video a like. That helps us out a lot. We really appreciate it. What I would say is we've seen so much growth and expansion and development that's still ongoing in all of the areas that we looked at. And there are a variety of options and opportunities for people that are looking to sell and or move into the area from out of town or out of state. And like I said earlier, I know many of you are, because I get calls and emails from you. So as I stated, I hope that you find this helpful. If you are in the process of considering selling your home in any of the areas that we looked at or any of the surrounding or in-between areas, all of my contact information is down in the description of the video. Feel free to send me an email, give me a call or a text. Let's set up a consultation and have a conversation to strategize about what makes the most sense in terms of the marketing of your home. And likewise, if you're looking to move into the area and you want more in-depth information than what we cover today, or perhaps want to look at a specific home or talk about a specific area, again, all of my contact information is down in the description. Reach out to me and we can schedule a complimentary buyer's consultation for you as well. I'm really big on the data. I'm really big on the analytics. And if you look at enough content on this channel, you can see that I believe there's safety in the data. Again, the numbers don't tell the whole story. Everything when it comes to selling a property is a case-by-case basis. There are multiple variables and factors that have to be considered in terms of a pricing strategy or how much money to offer for a home. But generally, you can make sure that you're on the right track and can have a general understanding before you go into the process. And I think that's very helpful. There's a lot of things to discuss about the Myrtle Beach area. We obviously talked about the population of Conway. We didn't get into much population things in other areas. The explosion in development you see from Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach is because of all this influx of growth. And so some of those areas were more touristy, which is another thing you may want to consider. If you want to avoid that, then you may want to look at some of the other areas or other areas we didn't look at today in the surroundings. But like I said, for many of you being right in the thick of the activity of the city life that Myrtle Beach has to offer, that's exactly where you're going to want to be. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss. For the sake of brevity, we don't want to cover all of it on this video. This was designed to be a very high-level overview of the statistics and the data for the current market for Myrtle Beach and the surrounding areas, for the consideration of those of you that are looking to sell or buy in this area currently. And so I'm very hopeful that this is very useful information for many of you out there. I know that the similar video that we've done for Florence, South Carolina, I've had a ton of very positive feedback from many of you out there. And so I want to provide that for the other areas that we service in Myrtle Beach as well. So if you did find this helpful, again, please give it a like. It really does help us out a lot, and we really do appreciate it. Also, subscribe to the channel for future content. We want to keep the audience abreast of all the analytics, the statistics, and the data for these areas that we service in the state of South Carolina. But we also do a lot of fun stuff to show you the life and the culture here as well. And we often do giveaways as well, so make sure that you're subscribed with the notifications on so that you can be alerted to those future videos as we release them. We try to do a lot of fun stuff and integrate life in South Carolina for all of those that are considering moving to or selling and buying within our area. And there is a lot of activity, as we've talked about on this channel, with Myrtle Beach being the most moved to city along with Wilmington in the United States for a couple years running. So with that being said, we're here to serve y'all. I look forward to hearing from you. I wish you nothing but the best in your real estate transactions and endeavors. And in the meantime, y'all take care, and we'll see you on the next video.